Hello everyone and welcome back to Football Manager 2023 and a brand new episode today where we are going to try and destroy Manchester City Football Club. Now the idea here is Man City basically are a club with a money printing owner that can just buy anything they want whenever they want and break any kind of orthodoxy in any league that they could possibly want to do it. And they are absolutely at the pinnacle of their game at the moment, pushing towards another Premier League title. So the idea in this experiment is to reverse that situation. No more money printer, and instead the money is going in the other direction. There is going to be constant debt and pressure placed on the club's finances to see if we can just completely break them. And through all of that, there will be a transfer embargo as well. So they'll only be able to sell players. They will not be able to buy them. Now, there are a few ways that you can mess with a club to ruin its finances, and I've gone for a few of them here. If we have a look at Man City's financial situation, I've not touched the reputation, the morale, the club attendance. That's all going to stay the same. But what I have done is I have given them $500 million in as a bank balance, so their overdraft, I guess, is down to June. Is it $500 million or is that 55 million down? We're going to get rid of their front end sugar daddy. We have deleted all of their income except this one that I couldn't remove during the pre-game editor, so I've got rid of that one now. And that means that their income this year will be about 2 million rather than 600 million, I think it is normally. And we've added on this debt, which will sit with them for a good few years till 2041, £650 million debt that they need to repay without any income coming in, and with all of their wages still to pay. This number is going to spiral out of control pretty quickly. I don't think it'll be long before they try and have a change in ownership to deal with the financial stress that they're under. They will keep on putting new sponsorship in there to try and rebuild the club's finances, because they do still have a really high reputation, so brands are going to want to be associated with them. But we're going to fight that every step of the way. We're going to keep checking in, and we're going to see if we can get Man City to drop out of the game. I want them relegated from the Vanarama National League North if I can. So what we'll do is we'll start off going forward fairly slow, because it'll be interesting to see what happens with their finances over time. And then we'll jump further and further forward once it looks like they are about to fall off a cliff. Maybe let me know down in the comments how long it'll take for Man City to get relegated from the Football League. I'd be interested to see. I think it will be probably longer than you expect before they do fall out of the game. But let's go forward a few months now and see what the damage is. Well, we are 6 months further forward now, and you can see, at least in the Premier League, they are still at the top of the table. No change there whatsoever, but their transfer history, these are their pre-arranged transfers, or the ones that had already taken place. They've had 171 million of players leave, but nobody recently. And if we have a look at the club's general information, maybe look at their landmarks here, no change to their financial situation as of yet. The reputation's still high, attendance still there. They've added on about 80 million of debt though, so that's already started to have an impact. I think maybe there's another source of income in there, but they've had to go to the bank for a actual loan to deal with their overdraft, which just keeps on ballooning. I think they're going to have to keep going back to the bank for more and more debt. But otherwise, it looks like there's been no impact on ownership or anything else just yet. So let's go forward maybe to the end of the first season and see if that impact's kicked in. Well, you can see Manchester City have still managed to win the league in their first season under financial stress. Maybe not a surprise there, 3 points over Liverpool. If we have a look at their landmarks, still no change in owner or anything else. The club reputation and everything remains intact, but they do now have £348 million of debt in their overdraft. If we have a look at their income, they found some more sources of income in here, which we will be deleting as we go, but that's going to help them out massively. That bank debt has increased as well, and that will keep ballooning up because I'm going to go in and keep removing a lot of these time after time so they can't keep that income. Now, I am just going to make myself manager of Man City to see what exactly is going on here. in their financial screen. Now, I've already gone forward in the game, so this won't stop Pep Guardiola being the manager. It just allows me to have a look at the club itself, because it's this finances screen I want to see. And you can see the overall balance there ballooning down from about minus 50 million as it was. It's now minus 402 million. Profit and loss is regularly running at a 60-ish million loss. They're projected to pass financial fair play. Now, in the pre-game editor, I did change their financial fair play, so they had negative around 200 million for 5 years in a row. So I don't know how they're still passing financial fair play, but I can't imagine that's going to last. You can see their income just ticking up, but the expenditure's still quite high. Now, if we have a look at their financial fair play summary, they're projected to make a profit. I don't know how they quite managed to swing that, but they've got a massive expenditure, which is higher than the income. So, I mean, that explains why they've got this negative balance here, but big income this month, probably from the TV money, but it is not going to make a massive impact, I don't think. But why they're still allowed to transfer in a wage budget, I don't know. I think maybe we need to do even a little bit more damage here. But let's maybe go forward a couple more years and see if we can at least get them into administration sometime soon. Well, we are now a couple more years in the future, and you can see Man City still winning titles. Although, you may have seen that their second season, they dropped down to third, 80 points, 7 points behind Chelsea, but they had 9 points deducted for dropping into administration. So their financial problems literally caused them to lose the title that they had won by merit. 9-point deduction, kicking them pretty hard. They managed to come back the next season and still win the title. A pretty poor and pretty low points total at the top of the league there. You can see they would have won it both seasons there with 80 points. But interesting that they've been or had a title taken away through a points deduction. If we have a look at their landmarks, we'll see what happened. They did go into administration in October, so it took until the second year for them to go into administration. The owner left the club and they had a new chairman come in. So it looks like he just left as chairman, but left the business or whatever you call it in charge of the club, but a new chairman came in. He got them out of administration the same day, which seems unlikely, unless there was a big source of money coming in. But if we look at the club details, you can see the reputation is still the same. The financial, though, they're down to 632 million in debt. They keep getting more sponsorship coming in, which we have cleared. And now they're in I think this is a corporate voluntary arrangement or something like that, which is where you agree to have debts cancelled when you go into administration, and you're left with a structured debt plan to allow you to survive, and you repay your creditors what you can. So they've got this debt now on the club, which I will keep messing with. I'll keep adding new debts on, keep taking away their income. I want them to have points deduction after points deduction. And you can see with the transfer history, nobody coming in, but also they're not really letting players leave. A little bit going here. Sergio Gomez left. Stevanovic, Bustos, Akanji did leave for 26 million. But otherwise, they're managing to hold on to their squad, which is quite interesting. They've still got a lot of very good players in there. So they will keep challenging for titles, but how long will they be able to keep a hold of these players as we keep taking away their money? Let's maybe go forward 5 years now and see if we can have a serious impact on their league position at the top of the table. So when we left off, City did finish top of the table. The very next season, though, they dropped down again, another 9-point deduction as they went into administration. The following season, another 9-point deduction, but they keep getting Champions League football. Following season, no deduction, but runners-up in the Premier League. And then the following year, another 9-point deduction means that they fell out of the Champions League places. And then another 9-point deduction means that they drop down into mid-table. So finally, we are seeing them drop down the table. They've still got Erling Haaland at the club. I don't know how they're hanging on to him, but if we look at their landmarks this time, you can see they'd won the Carabao Cup. They went into administration again, came out, went into administration. The chairman left, new chairman came in to take over. Out of administration, back in again, out of administration, back in again. And it is taken them a little bit longer. It took them a month to get out of administration that time. It took them 2 months to get out of administration that time as well. So the debt is having an impact. If we have a look at their finances, still minus $250 million there. Their income is still there. I keep clearing this out, but it keeps coming back in. And they've now got 46 million left on their CVA. But until they deal with that, they cannot spend money. I mean, they're under transfer embargo anyway, but you can see some players now leaving. Cole Palmer's gone to Spurs, 14 million, 49 million. That was Jan Quoto going. So they're young, rising superstars, and the ones leaving. Julian Alvarez is gone. Jack Grealish has gone to Arsenal. So the big players are starting to leave, but I'm curious if it's the transfer embargo or the financial situation that's having the bigger impact here. I think they'd still be spending money like nobody's business on transfers if I hadn't put an embargo on them. But let's keep messing with them. Let's go another 5 years forward and see if they've dropped out the Premier League. Man City had just started to become a mid-table team when we left up. The following year, they did get back into European football, no points deduction, but then the year after that, they got another 9-point deduction. They also finished bottom of the league. Even without the deduction, they'd have finished bottom of the league. That is a rapid decline from Europa League football to then being relegated bottom of the Premier League. The following year, if we drop down to the Championship and have a look at what happened, we can see where are Man City. Oh, we need to go back a few years, don't we, to probably around here. Can we see Man City in there? No. Season after that, where are Man City? Still not there. The year after that, there they are. Man City, they got relegated straight away. Again, a 12-point deduction in the Championship, even harsher for administration. And then in the 33-34 season, they dropped down into League One. That was going up when I wanted to go down. Let's have a look at the league table here for the 33-34 season. Man City, I guess it was 33-34 season. They got another 12-point deduction that led to them finishing in 15th place. And then the year after that, they've been relegated again, and even harsher, their 12-point deduction, if it hadn't been applied, would have kept them in League One. So they are now a League Two team, and they are dropping like a stone. If we have a look at their landmarks from when we left off last time, new owners having to come in, they keep going into administration. They were relegated from the Premier League in the same season they finished Europa League runner-up. Youth category dropping, went into administration, back out again, relegated. Youth category rating raised. They had to sell their youth facilities as they went into administration 2 more times. Went into administration again. They have won the Papa John's trophy, so that's nice, I guess. But if we have a look at the club's general information, then we can see that reputation down from 9,000 to 5,399. The club attendance dropping with it as well. They've halved the number of fans they've got. They've still got hundreds of millions in overdraft debt. They've managed to get some money coming in. They get their parachute payments as well. But if we look at their debt, they've now got 100 million on that voluntary agreement. And if we look at their facilities as well, they are still at the Etihad. They have no youth facilities anymore, even though they still got very good training facilities. So they've managed to hang on to the training facilities, but the youth facilities do not exist at Manchester City anymore. They are really in trouble. So let's jump forward a bit further forward now that they are clearly in free fall. If we have a look at that graph, look at that, absolutely dropping like a stone, and we'll see how they're getting on. Well, I haven't had to go very far forward, barely even 10 years further forward, and they have genuinely dropped out of the game already. They're now in the Southern Premier Central Division. When we left off, they just got relegated into League Two. They finished bottom of League Two, then 11th, 21st for relegation, 11th, and then 22nd as they were relegated. And they have finished down, getting relegated every time they've tried to get promoted as well. The financial status of the club, look at the reputation, dropped. The club attendance now only 6,000. They do still have a maximum club attendance of 85,000. There's still some City fans out there, but they are fair weather fans these days. Won't come out if it's raining. But you can see they're still, I mean, how big is that debt there? That is hard to read, but they're 68 million in debt as a non-league club. that is not helpful. They've got no income anymore. They've still got 144 million in debt. There's no way they'll ever get out of that. Their facilities, they've still got training facilities that are 16 and corporate facilities that are 14. And they still have the Etihad Stadium at the club. I can't believe they haven't been forced to sell the club. That is crazy. The rent's 400 million a year. I may have increased that myself. So I don't know how they're still allowed to play there, but they will be going bankrupt year after year after year. And they're still constantly going into administration. Like, even though they're no longer in the game, it's administration after administration, and it's a debt loop that they will never escape from. They need to get out the Etihad Stadium, really. That's the problem. They'll continue to be ruined by that stadium with the 400 million a year rent. But they are now gone. They do at least have a Papa John's trophy for their free fall status, but Man City have successfully been ruined as a club. I've also gone forward another 20 years in the game, and they never get out of their purgatory down here. They stay in the lower leagues for the rest of their time as a club because they just never escape the debt. So the trick to leading to Man City falling out of the game is to saddle them with so much debt that they're in an endless spiral of administration. The expenses that they have to deal with, like the stadium rent, you can't do here. You can only mess with their income here. But everywhere else, they've been absolutely ruined. So if you did enjoy this experiment, do drop a like down below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new. But until next time, see ya.